into Vainglory 5v5 as well.
Yeah, 5v5 at the moment hopefully will be going competitive soon. I actually did my first 5v5 match earlier and it is so chaotic.
It's amazing, though. It's so amazing.
It is amazing, definitely amazing. And it's just so chaotic. But at the moment, this draft is looking chaotic. We have a Churnwalker band, we have a Vox band, and we have the first pick of a Fortress, who, from what I've seen so far, is pretty broken at the moment if you play him as a jungle CP just because of the wolves he spawns. So he's quite a good viable first pickup.
Yeah, I think it does
But
provide you a bit of flexibility as well because you can run it as either that CP jungler, like you were mentioning. You can run it in the captain position as well. And I think we've even seen some competitive running of it as a laner at one point. Mr. Big Paws brought that one out, but it's a Samuel ban to answer back. And Samuel and Fortress in the jungle can be a very scary duo.
yeah, it can be a really scary duo, but at least they do have the lance just to lock him down, just to slow down his mobility, whether it's with an impale or the stun up from the Giphian wall, which is quite a smart um roaming counter, or even as a weapon person, lance could work here as well. But hopefully they are gonna ban something very soon. I don't know what they're gonna ban. It's gonna be a sky. Ooh, okay.
Yeah, so Sky, pretty strong pick in the meta right now. Definitely makes sense to want to take that one off the table. However, you already have the Fortress who fares pretty well into Sky. It helps your team get onto that backline. I'm not sure if it was the best ban here because you get that advantage if B side does pick it up. And if B side doesn't, then you can pick up that Sky for yourself. He does pretty well at dancing around Lance, making it difficult for him to land those impales. So I think I would have liked to see the ban go another way, but Ringo picked up, and this could be a good opportunity to get a Rona in here. We've seen Rona with a lot of success getting into that back line. The changes to Shiver Steel allow Rona to get that item pretty early on, thanks to the attack speed. And that can really help lock that Ringo down. And when you have the Fortress to help you pursue, just very, very efficient team composition.
Ooh, but they do have an Adagio instead. I haven't seen a lot of Adagio lately. I've only seen him like a couple of times. And considering he did get buffed quite a bit, he is more of a viable roamer, I would say, just because of the extra fortified health he can now make. But they are also going to pick it up with a crawl. I personally like running a crawl with an Adagio. Like it's just bruises such as crawl. I do love running Adagio with just because with the Agent or Wrath with the buff it gives you, it just does so nice extra damage. It may be little, but it can do such a significant amount. And even then to have it onto the Ringo, it can also provide the slow as well. So it's going to help lock down that Ringo even more, who is really, really mobile, of course. And of course, you have the Fortress as well, who's also very mobile, just easily to jump onto Ringo. They've got a bit of a diving comp here, but they're going for Petal. I am not a fan of Petal, but in this case, I will allow Petal.
Pedal is pretty decent into both Kroll and Adagio, just due to obviously Kroll suffers to the aggression that pedal can put out early on, as well as Adagio. He doesn't really have any way to disengage, nor does really anybody on the team allow him to do so. So he can be kind of a sitting duck to the burst that a Ringo and a pedal can put out. And then obviously he's always got to watch out for that Lance coming through. Adagio, he's kind of a sitting duck for those impales and the Githian walls. So we'll have to see who can capitalize the best here. Both teams do have a pretty potent composition put together. I want to give a slight edge over to the side of Avidity, at least in the early and mid game.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that as well. If they with manage to sort of snowball a lot more with the Petal, then it's just going to cause the Crawl to fall behind a lot more, including Fortress as well, for they're both a late game composition. But in the late game, I would say that Devious should have more of the upper hand, providing that they don't get snowballed as much by this Petal. But hopefully, just be seeing a lot of plays from Affinity being really aggressive here, which really will benefit them, especially with Lance as well, who's I would say is more strong in the early game than the late game from his impale. But we're
Yeah,
just gonna have to
The
see how it plays
battle for
out,
the
to be honest,
halcyon
man.
fold
It's
has
all cool.
begun.
It's
Yep. So it
cushy.
looks like we're getting into this game. Adagio, he's got himself a crystal bit, so very likely going to be the laner in this scenario. We have seen the lane Kroll come out from a couple teams, specifically looking over at Vision Gaming. But with no Book of Eulogies, I don't think we're going to be seeing Astro rotate up into the lane. Neglect, he's got himself an armor, which can be helpful to the Adagio basic attacks in the early portion here. He's definitely going to have to watch out for those empowered attacks from the Agent of Wrath, as well as that burning damage that comes out of the Gift of Fire as well. So pretty standard start here. We've got both teams are splitting ambient gold and experience onto the laner and the jungler, working their way over to the middle. But it looks like Avidity, they have a little bit quicker of a rotation at this point. And I'm kind of surprised with the composition they have and the level 2 spike. They didn't even try to go for the Treant down there. I think that should have been a fight all theirs to win. That's just going to give a free Elder Treant over now to the side of Devious.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I'm quite shocked that they didn't testify for it. I thought they would testify for it, and it would probably be a lot easier for them to steal the Treant off of Devious. But it looks instead they are going to hopefully go for an early gank onto Neglect.
Yeah, not quite able to find it yet, but a couple more hits would do. He's going to make it out alive, though. Flask was enough to get him out safely, but he's going to have to recall. That's going to cause him to miss out on a little bit of CS, because Tashik and Incenter are going to try to force this wave up, try to cause this Ringo to miss as much CS as they can. It doesn't look like they're going to have the clear speed to do it yet, but denying the Ringo farm, and Ringo's very, very strong in this patch thanks to some changes to Spell Sword, as well as some of the other weapon power items, has really brought Ringo into a much stronger light, and he can be a lot more difficult to deal with than we've seen in the past. There was definitely a heavy fall off from Ringo because he just doesn't have the mobility that a lot of the popular laners did, but now just due to the sheer dueling potential that he has, he's really risen to the top in this meta.
He has an Sinner. Boy, still treats like that again, and I'm going to be really happy.
Yeah, looks like Sinner might be dropping here, but can they get the kill onto this Petal? They're looking for it, and the Spectral Smite's going to come through. First Blood is going to go over to Astral, as well as giving an assist to each of his team members, and they're going to pick up another kill. That one's going to go on to Tashik, and now Neglect. He's on the run. He's seen his teammates fall. Wants to get out to safety, as now we're kind of back into the farming phase, but is this sneaky Kroll over here? Astral is looking to get a little bit of a jungle rotation, but will he push any further? It doesn't look like it. Might even make a rotation into the lane here. That Shadows Empower Me for the slow on Ringo could help them set up a good gank here.
Ooh, them looking for the gankers it seems, but it looks like they're not. They are probably just going to carry on pushing up the wave. I think Lance is aware of Fortress being there. Yeah, he's aware of it. But it looks like Axia in return is going to rotate up there and put a lot of pressure on.
Yeah, and here's where that Adagio really does suffer. He gets rooted up by the Impale, that's stunned by the Gythian Wall. Petal does find a bit of damage, but Adagio, he's going to be able to heal up thanks to the Flask, thanks to the Gift of Fire that he has as well. And that's going to keep him safely here in the lane, and with only one minion, not a whole lot of pressure that Avidity can put out. But here, Astral, he's ready to set up a play. He's going in onto Neglect. The root is down onto Sinner. That's going to be one kill answered, and now Astral, he's looking for one of his own. Almost able to find Neglect. One more hit will do. That's a 1-for-1 trade. Now looking for the Petal, but a good trampling over the wall may have helped him find a kill. Does look like Tashik's going to come down. That's a second kill now for Devious, and they are looking to get onto Prosby now. He's not going to make it anywhere out of this fight. That's going to be 5 kills on the board now for the side of Devious. And while the side of Avidity, they were able to get 1 up for themselves, they are sitting down about 1,000 gold now, which is maybe not the most comfortable situation to be in. We're really hoping this Petal could have got a little bit more of an edge early over this Kroll, and that just hasn't been the case. The farm is very even in the jungle, and in fact, Kroll has a couple CS above this Petal at the point. So Kroll, he's looking to get into this late game as soon as possible.
Yeah, and in general, with the side of Devious, they've already got a alternating current, which is doing a bit of work here.
Yeah, a little bit as they're getting some damage down onto Neglect in the lane, but with his whole team rotating up, it is going to be Devious backing away, trying to get this Krull to his first tier 3 item spike. It does look like he may be going the route of a Sorrow Blade at this point, which isn't what we typically see on a Krull. It's usually into the Spell Sword for some cooldowns, or just going into a lot of tankiness and allowing your other carry, specifically obviously your laner in this case, to be that hyper carry for the team. I do like they're going with more damage than the tanky route, because this Adagio, as he gets into the late game, he will start to suffer a little bit up against this Ringo. He will pack quite a massive punch, but we also have to take into account that during the fight, Adagio, he's going to have to cast his abilities to get his maximum damage, and that is time that Ringo is going to be able to just punish Adagio thanks to the increased attack speed of the Twirling Silver.
Yeah, exactly. And it'd be really good to see Tashik be able to play his abilities correctly to outdo Neglect, as it looks like they've just got a bit of aggro going on.
Yeah, they do. A good triple root coming out of Prosby there. The Hellfire Brew is out onto Astral. Doesn't look like it's quite going to be enough. In fact, Astral, he might be coming in looking for a kill of his own. Another Githian Wall is going to help stun him up, but it's going to be Azuka falling. Prosby, it looks like you're going to drop 2. That's 2 kills now going over to the side of Devious, and they may be looking to get some lane pressure here. It's going to be very dangerous for this Ringo to try to stick around. They have a minion Candy Wave, and here comes the whole team. Doesn't look like they're going to be able to find it. Astral, in fact, he might even be paying with a couple turret shots. If the turret is not... It looks like the turret might be a little bit bugged out here, so that's a little bit unfortunate for the side of Avidity. But it's going to be first turret going over to the side of Devious. Now, he's coming down. He sees Astral is on low health. Will they choose to take this fight? It doesn't look like it. Seems they know that Devious have such an advantage right now. It'd be a risky call, since Krull doesn't really matter if he's low on health. He definitely can start up a fight, at any time.
Yeah, definitely, and I do agree that they know it is risky. They already a turret down. It's 7-1 already to Devious. It's just under a 2k gold lead as well. Devious has been very dominant with the kills, especially this Krull. He's just on 5-0, and even though, like you mentioned earlier, you would expect the Spell Sword, I think the Sorrow Blade here is working so effectively. So he did manage to pick up a double kill onto Neglect and Prosby, and it just helped them take down that turret, as they are now just trying to push back up. They're saying, hey, no, we want a turret, we want redemption. But no, unfortunately, it looks like they are not going to be able to get that turret. Although, as you did say earlier in the Drotis, that Shiver Steel, he's going to be able to stick on a lot more, so it's just going to be so much harder for Avidity to last so much longer in these fights. Like, they're already struggling at the moment, but hopefully now that Ringo's picked up some crit, Predator has her Shadow Glass, they should be doing better here, so they are going in for the gank.
It looks like they're looking for a fight here, but they have to be cautious, as he has not spent the 2,000 gold that's in his pocket. Gold miner is started up, so looking like they're taking it down pretty quickly. I think they should get this one absolutely free. There's going to be no contest coming out of the side of Avidity. And now, Tashik, he should be looking to spend some of this gold. 2,500 gold in your pocket, that's not going to help you in a team fight. He's picked up the Dragon's Eye, and I do like this purchase on Adagio. Obviously, with the alternating current, he's going to be using his basic attacks for a large majority of his damage. And because he's using basic attacks, he'll be able to build up the Dragon's Eye fairly quickly on in a fight, and it's just going to ramp his damage up very quickly. Against Neglect specifically, the other single target dueler that's going to be in the lane, he doesn't have any shield yet, so he's going to be very susceptible to the boosted damage coming out of that Agent of Wrath. But here we go, Astral's coming in, looking for the fight. The Githian Wall not quite going to hit the target that Prosby was looking for, but stunning up and Incenter was enough to force them back. So Neglect, he's going to make it out alive. And in fact, Incenter rotating down, picked up some more health for himself. He's got the War Treads ready too, so they may be looking for an engagement here. Neglect, he's playing very far up for not having that first turret. Here we go, as the side of Devious are coming in. That's going to be one dead Ringo. The slow coming out of that Krull, the speed buff coming out of the Fortress just proved to be too much. Prosby, he might make it out alive here. He's going to with the help of that healing flask. couple turret shots are going to force Astral back, but Akuza, I don't know if there's anything he can really do in this 2v3. They really need to get a fight where they're together and can get the jump onto Tashik early enough on. Otherwise, it's just going to be a matter of time before this Curl shuts this Ringo down over and over again.
Yeah, exactly. I do like seeing that every time when it comes to initiating these team fights, Astral always goes straight on top of Neglect, is what you should be doing as goal. You should be aiming for your main power source of who's going to be causing the most damage, which is Neglect here. He does have the crit here. He does, I would say, have more damage than Axa here as well on this pedal. But it looks like they're not scared. They are going for another gold mine here, which might be still by Prosby if he can impale it.
Yeah, one's going to go over to Roll, and now that's going to be the side of Devious on the chase. We have one onto Neglect. They looks like they're turning their attention onto Prosby. Good stun there. This is a good opportunity for Avidity if they could get some damage down. Doesn't look like they're quite able to find it on the target they want. If we look at the health bars, it's been a good bit of juggling of damage that the side of Devious have put together here. Gonna get them out alive. Prosby, he made it out too, but we still have a pretty sizable lead of 4,000 gold in favor of Devious right now. We have Adagio working into a broken myth. In fact, he's only a couple hundred gold shy. And Neglect, he's upgraded into some tier 2 boots, but he's nowhere near his third tier 3 offensive item. So that is a little bit worrisome. He's got that reflex block, but he still doesn't have any shield for the damage that Adagio is able to put out, and that's really putting them behind at this point. Meanwhile, looking over at Krull, he's got 3 tier 3s online as well. That's Sorrow Blade, he got the Aegis, and he's got the Shiver Steel. We talked about it about the Rona building Shiver Steel earlier. Thanks to the new build path, that gives you attack speed, and what's better on Krull than attack speed?
Yeah, you do need a lot of attack speed when it comes to crawl, for otherwise you're not going to dish out your damage as quick, and it's just really beneficial here. Speaking of damage, Adagio is got an infusion and a broken myth, and crawl is also now picking an infusion. It looks like they may be wanting to fight here very soon, so that they could push up for even more turrets, and even maybe hopefully just keep adding more pressure, maybe take a crystal sentry as well, just really aiming for those objectives against Avidity just to push them behind a little bit more. They are looking to set up a gank here. They are just going to pop some vision that Avidity is trying to pop down, but they are just going to run over it, and it looks like they're kind of scared. Devious should try and engage here. It is a 2v3 scenario, so they are going to do it.
Yeah, it looks like they're going for it. They do have the team split up, but they are fighting underneath this Crystal Sentry. Akuza, he's losing a lot of health very quickly. That's going to be one dropping. Devious picking up their 9th kill. They're looking for Prosby. They're going to find him. Astral, he found a stun on the Neglect, but they did not follow up. They've turned their attention onto the Crystal Sentry. Maybe looking for another gold mine at this point, too. And with only Neglect alive, it would not be safe for him to try to come over and pick that one up for the steal. So that should be a free gold mine now going over to the side of Devious and extending their lead even further. They're sitting up at almost 6,000 gold lead at this point. And the next fight probably is going to determine who gets Kraken. And if the things keep going the way they are, I think that one's going to be going over to Devious. We're at the 13.5-minute mark right now. So only about a minute and a half to go before Kraken's on the fold, and that could be a devastating push for either one of these teams if they're able to pick that objective up.
Yeah, exactly. For Devious at the moment, they've already got the upper hand. They've already taken a turret to Avidity, so like it will benefit them so much if they do manage to get a Kraken. However, if Avidity do manage to steal a Kraken off of them, or even ace them potentially, then take a Kraken, it could really turn the table around, and then they can easily pull it back that way with a Kraken push. They may be able to get a turret or 2 out of it, definitely 1 if they are able to execute it properly. But hopefully they may be able to steal a turret here. They are just going to keep pushing up the lane and just adding more and more pressure onto Avidity here. I do like that Devious and Avidity are rotating together as a team. I think Avidity more as a team, as I do think they're just more scared than anything. Crystal Sentry, however, is now gone, so they are a bit of weak here. They do have a slight disadvantage here if they want to fight around here. They won't have to help the Sentry anymore, which is a good use of objectives as they're going to go in.
Yeah, it looks like they're trying to find this fight. Kraken's coming on the board in 20 seconds. They found 1 kill already onto Akuza. Crosby, I think he might be dropping again here too in a second. He's trying to make the great escape. I don't think it's going to happen. Here comes Krull. Astral doing such a great job on this pick. 7-0-5 right now. Has 100% kill participation, as well as Tay on this Adagio. 100% kill participation there as well at 12. Kraken is now on the board. We have 15 seconds left on Prosby. And Akuza, he's coming up just now. But Tay, if he can get the burn down, here we go. This could be a good fight breaking out. Astral is coming. Might be able to pick up that one as well. 30 seconds now on the Ringo center. He has picked up aggro from the Kraken. And Astral, he's going to be the one taking it over. Krull, very capable of sustaining his health bar, even against the heavy hits coming out of this Kraken. So they are ready for the next fight, should it come. Prosby, he's forced to defend this turret against the minion wave, though, so this should be a free Kraken going over to the side of Devious. And they do have 4 turrets to go through, so I don't think this is going to be a game-ending push, unless if they can pick up a clean ace, which is going to be a little bit difficult to do. It seems like Ringo, he's playing far enough back that he's able to get out of combat, but he's not playing close enough to actually dish out the damage onto the targets that he needs. Oh no! That's going to be Akuza getting caught out underneath that first turret. And that is not a good start to this Kraken push for the side of Avidity in center. He does take that Hellfire Brew, which is probably not the target Neglect would have liked it to go on. And now Astral and Tashik, they're just looking to hammer onto this turret with the Kraken. Instead, they're turning their attention all the way over to Neglect now. Helpful Githian Wall is going to help Neglect get out alive. But that's the choke point turret now going down. This Kraken still well over half health, and Devious, their carries are still very healthy as well. Fountain is still ready to go for Incenter. Here we go. We've got an Atlas down onto Krull. Prosby, he's doing his best to keep the aggression back. He is dropping very low as well. The Verse of Judgment comes out of Adagio, cleaning out some minions, helping take down that turret. And they might be looking to close this one out here. They have to be careful. Incenter's very low. Here we go. If they can find the kill onto Akuza, they've found one. They've traded one out. Krull, he's looking for the stun onto Ringo. If they can pick up this kill, they win the game, and they're going to get it. That's 16-2. Devious, they pick up the triple kill, and they are going to take down that Crystal Sentry, or that Crystal, the Vein Crystal. Sorry about that, but really well played out of both of these teams, but Devious, as you mentioned, they just were a little bit better and tighter on the rotations, and they came out on top.
Yeah, and they were just so much more aggressive. Like we even see Fortress did right near the end there pick up an aftershock as well. He's just wanting that extra power spike, and I haven't been able to have the chance to mention it, but nearly every team fight, every time the Fortress is able to go in with his A, he has been setting off that Dragon Blood contract, and it's been helping them so much. And he's usually been doing it onto Neglect for that Ringo and for the Lance as well. It just allows Astral to get in so much quicker, and he can do so much more damage that way. And it's a really nice, effective way. You then have the Adagio in the back, just poking away and scaling up gradually. And then as we see the damage he was doing on Zuka right there was insane. He didn't really buy much defense in the end, which I think he should maybe wanted to do that more in the future. But overall, Devious was just better in practically every way. They just outplayed Avidity so much, especially when it comes to rotations and objectives wise. I mean, they took the Crystal Sentry, I'd say, by the 10 minutes, I believe, which is very nice of them to do, just that early finish on there. And then right there, even though you said they may not be able to take the Vein Crystal. I nearly said Vein Sentry for a minute. With that Kraken, but unfortunately to Avidity, Devious did manage to pick it up. They managed to secure it, and it's just helped them win the game. And they did manage to clutch it. It was pretty close, but overall, nicely played. Nicely played.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. And this is a best of 3 series, so Avidity, they will have a chance to get here into game 2 and possibly turn things around. We'll just have to see if they can pull things together. Obviously, we'll have to see how the draft starts out. I did like Avidity's draft in that last game. It just seemed like they failed to execute on a couple of the key spikes in the game that they should have. I mean, even dialing down to that first minute, as we both mentioned, having the quicker rotation, having the stronger level 2 spike with the pedal over the Krull, and turning away from that Elder Treant. And again, it was the side of Devious had just finished up clearing their backs. Their rotation was substantially slower. So I feel like that first rotation really kind of set the pace for the game.
Yeah, it did a little bit. It's just a shame that Avidity didn't really try to seek for that early aggression, like you mentioned. They had so much of a faster rotation for Cruel Vultures and Adagio. They do generally take longer to clear waves, especially when it comes to a jungle rotation. So Avidity there probably should have been more aggressive, like I mentioned in the draft, especially with that petal. Where with petal, if you win more the early game of the petal, it's kind of hard to defeat her in the late game because she's just so strong. It's just a shame that they didn't realize it, but hopefully they would know not to be under aggressive and be more aggressive here, not so passive. Hopefully, when it comes to these team fights again coming up, but we should be seeing it soon, as I believe we're getting into
Yeah,
draft.
we have a Kroll band away immediately by Avidity, obviously respecting the performance that the side of Devious were able to put down in that last game, specifically Astral. Just the aggression that he had on the Kroll, the rotations that he made, the ganks that he made possible was definitely helpful for the team. So Avidity, they've respected that. They've taken it off the board. A Vox has answered back. So now we have the Varia available and the Churnwalker. It's going to be the Churnwalker, though. They've gone with that captain first pick. The Varia is available, and I would like to see it come out in the upper ends of the competitive scene. We do see her either basically perma banned or perma or instantly picked. So it's interesting that she made it through both last draft and this one. I really think Avidity should work on pulling that one out just because she's so difficult to deal with. But Churnwalker, very good at setting up plays as well. So if Varia is just not in your comfort zone, maybe it is best to stray away from that. And a Sky answered back out of Devious.
Ooh, Sky can work very nicely into Walker, but that's providing she doesn't call out. It can be a real pain for Walker, but at the same time, it looks like they're going to respond with their ban on Taka, which is very smart. For Taka is the main counter for Sky. He is just really annoying into the Sky, and the last thing you want is for Sky to be consistently harassed and just feeling kind of scared that she's just like, oh no, I don't know where this fox is. Oh my days, help me. But it looks like they are going to ban away a black feather instead, which is kind of weird. I just no. Why the black feather? But they are going to pick up the Ringo instead again, prioritizing that Ringo pick. Hopefully, Devious will be able to pull off this Ringo. We did see them work really well on Adagio, which I would say is pretty hard to pull off in the lane, considering you need to combo pretty well. Avidity, however, didn't do as much as a good job on the Ringo. Maybe Devious will be able to pull out even more, but they're going to respond with a Celeste and a Glaive. A lot of lockdown onto that Sky, so the Sky's going to have a bit of a hard time, especially when it comes to the late game with the Celeste who will outrange and the Glaive as well, the Afterburn. Just hopefully looking a lot more snowbally. Lot more snowbally. They've definitely got more of an aggressive composition this time.
Yeah, absolutely. And against the Crystal Sky in the jungle, Glaive should be able to harass early if he plays it correctly. Otherwise, Sky is going to dance just on the edge of his attack range and should take the advantage. So it's going to come all down to how the Glaive uses his afterburns throughout the early portion of the game. And the key is to look out for those spikes into the wall. When you use an afterburn and punt an enemy directly away from you, they end up getting too far away, especially a Sky who wants to be far away from you, then you can't follow up any damage. So we're going to be looking for Glaive to afterburn the Sky into an obstacle or afterburn the Ringo into an obstacle so he can follow up that additional damage. And that's really what we need to see. Obviously, in the late game, Celeste, level 8, gets the additional range on Heliogenesis and can actually do a great job at zoning out the enemies. But, against a Ringo, she can be susceptible to the prime target burst that Ringo brings to the table.
Yeah, Ringo is definitely more very bursty here for the side of Devious. So he is going to be hopefully the main focus to shut down for, I think they're going to realize that he is going to be able to put out the most burst if he's able to get onto that Celestial Sky. Needs to scale up. So even though she isn't as much as a threat when it comes to initiating a team fight, they do need to lock down the Ringo as soon as possible, just because he can be really bursty, especially if he does the Spell Sword double monocle build here, which is I've seen quite common in EU. I don't know about NA, but it is so bursty and it's such a pain to face, and it can really, really hurt. But I believe that having this glaive is just going to be one of Ringo's worst nightmares. If he goes for sort of a bursty glaive build, then he can easily outdo it against this Ringo. And he does have the stun with his afterburn as well. So at least when he hits him, he will take some damage, hopefully a couple of crits as well. But Glaive could either go for a very bursty build or very crit sustainable build here. I would want more of a bursty crit build just because of how squishy Sky is. But I don't know. We're just gonna need to see how they're gonna play out. It'll be interesting to see how they both build here. And I'm curious for Celeste as well. For there's so many different builds that you do for Celeste, but it's just we just need to see which one they're gonna pick. Just
Yeah,
to see which one.
typically here in NA, we do see the glaive running heavy on the spell swords just for that additional cooldown and energy management. And it does work in most of the times. And I think against a double range composition, they are probably going to want that low cooldown on the afterburn. So we're spawning in here onto the fold. Obviously, Glaive going to be in the jungle, going the weapon route. Celeste in the lane, going to be that crystal hyper carry for the side of Avidity. But looking over at the opposition, Tay, he's probably going to be rotating into the jungle this game. He did play lane last time around, and Astral was in the jungle on that curl. It appears they've switched things up and are going to be looking to continue a win here for game number 2.
Yeah, they are switching things up a little bit, which is always nice to see in every game. It's nice to see it diverse, and it's just not as boring, to be honest. It makes it more interesting. It can set the players up even more. It's just nice to see different tactics being pulled up here. Hopefully there may be some early aggression coming on this time, early on, which I want to see. Come on, this is NA. Where's the aggression, please?
Yeah, it seems like they've had a lack of early game aggression, but Astral this time around on the Ringo, he's looking for it. They've already got Neglect down to under half health, which is a good start for them, and it's forced Divinity back into the lane. Celeste trying to get some vision with those Helios, but that's going to be another Elder Treant going over to the side of Devious, picking that one up. It looked like onto Astral. Indeed it was. So looking to get this Ringo fed here early on.
Yeah, it'd be good, but all that damage onto Neglect already. However, he did manage to stop him. Oh, if he didn't have that healing flask, he could have died, and that would have just been beautiful. It would have been a really nice first blood before 2 minutes, but it looks like Devious is still doing the same tactic of just sort of early harassment and poke. Whereas Avidity, I would hope that they would have taken a leaf out of their book and just been more aggressive with the snowballing, especially onto Ringo, but they might want to wait until Glaive has his first spell sword then, just because he has more cooldown and he will have more damage as well when he goes in, as he is looking for a cheeky gank here.
Yeah, looking for it, but Astral's playing pretty far back and does feel pretty safe in this circumstance. He's only got that one last minion to hit, as well as Neglect sitting very low on energy, and Astral, he's full here in the lane. A little bit of an early recall here out of him. He does have 1,500 gold to spend, picking up Weapon Blade, some boots. I would like to see the Heavy Steel come out. There it is right there. And that's going to help him farm up in the lane, as well as be more aggressive against the Celeste. And as long as he can avoid the core collapse, he should be all right. But Neglect does get jumped on by Tay and Sinner, but not quite enough to find the kill. In fact, didn't even find all that much damage. Just found a little bit of harass and the ability to force the Celeste back. And now, because Astral did do that early shop rotation and Neglect stayed, it does make it a little bit more difficult, because now here in the lane, Astral, it's going to be much easier for him to push that wave up as long as he doesn't get ganked by Akuza here sitting in the lane. Here comes the Afterburn. There it is, followed by the Core Collapse. This should be a kill going on over to Astral. With the boots and the Halcyon Potion, though, he's going to make it out alive, and he's going to be fine to farm up this wave as it gets pushed up into the turret.
Yeah, I do like the early purchase for Astral there with his boots. I think it's so key here, as it looks like Prosby is going to get a little bit caught out here. I don't think he's going to die, though.
He might. There's a kill.
Okay,
First blood is going to go over to Tay here on this Sky, who only has a little bit of crystal power, but is sitting on 1,700 gold by the time he makes it down to the shop. So he should be looking to pick up some items here. This is one of the times that I think a Frostburn on Sky would be okay. Typically, we do see that Dragon's Eye first, but just to help keep the aggression of this glaive down, the Frostburn in the build somewhere could be very useful to Tay, help protect himself, as well as his Ringo as well. If you can slow the glaive down and keep your Ringo just out of basic attack range, you're going to negate a lot of the damage that would come out towards the Ringo. It's a first item, Dragon's Eye, picked up by Neglect.
I usually don't see a lot of Dragon's Eye sometimes on a Celeste. I find it very rare to see it on a Celeste. I usually see the Eve or the Shatterglass come out as the first item on Celeste, just because she wants more of a burst or more sustainability. For stacking, like predicting when the stack is going to be really hard here, as it looks like they are going to go.
Yeah, it looks like they were looking for a kill there. Can they find it, though? Akuza, he's taken a lot of damage. Surrey Strike is going to help get into position, but the forward barrage, unfortunately, just doesn't find enough of its target. Neglect, very, very low here, is going to have to be cautious. The Flask has been used. The Core Collapse does miss, and now Tay, he's looking to build up some of these Dragon's Eye stacks. He's sitting at 7 right now, and we see that damage coming out. Prosby is now going to be forced to recall. Sinner was coming in looking for that blood for blood, but the fountain is now burned out of Prosby. And unfortunately for Neglect, that Solar Storm goes wide, and Astral is going to be allowed to keep up the aggression here in the lane.
Yeah, looks like that. Prosby is okay, no he's not. Never mind. No, I did not say anything. He may be finished off by this Hellfire Brew here, though.
He's got a healing flask. He'll be all right.
Why are people not dying?
Yes.
I do want to see more kills. I love aggression and Devious. I need to call them Divinity. That's a new name. They should be called that. But they are just keeping up this aggression. They're just so aggressive. Like even then with that team fight, just before that fight, Astral and Tay picked up a spell sword and a Dragon's Eye. They knew that they are ahead in items for at that time. Akzua? I can't say their name. Glaive. He didn't even have his spell sword by them, so they knew it would be beneficial to fight here, as it looks like they may be looking to fight here again.
Afterburn in, but Sky is a little bit too far back, and that's going to be a second kill now picked up by Tay. Surrey Strike over Prosby. He's looking to keep these Dragon's Eye stacks maintained. Fortunately, it does look like he's going to lose a couple of them here as this fight kind of nulls out. But with the wave that they have, if they can pick up a second kill here or force Neglect low on health, they could look for an aggressive turret push. Tay doing a good job dancing around the fight with the Surrey Strike on the Sky. We need to see the forward barrage connecting a little bit more. I feel like he's missing out on a lot of potential damage, and Astral's really doing quite a bit of it as this turret is taking a lot of damage. Astral, he might drop here. There's the fountain and the healing flask. They've turned things around. Here comes the gauntlet, picks up a stun onto Neglect. The healing flask is out there. Neglect, he's going to make it out alive, but I think this is going to be Devious picking up first turret. If they can get this minion wave even in range of the turret, one attack would do. Do have to be cautious as Akuza is here. Neglect has done a great job clearing out the wave and is looking for a kill onto Astral if possible. Not going to be able to find it, but they were able to hold on to their first turret, and as well as deny some gold out of Devious, who has about a 1.5k gold lead at this point.
Yeah, just seems a little bit more like a repeat of the last game. They seem to, of course, be predominant in kills for Devious. They almost get the the turret is so low here. It should be dead. It's really triggering me just seeing how low it is.
Here
But it
comes
looks like
Akuza, though. There's the afterburn. Unfortunately, there is no core collapse from Neglect, so Astral, he's going to make it out alive. In fact, he's got a flask coming up here in about 50 seconds. The Fountain of Renewal is available for Sinner. And with the wave nulled out, it's going to be Astral recalling to base, topping off his health, spending some of that gold that he had in his pocket, and now looking to return to the lane. Tay, he's up here trying to hold the wave back as much as possible. And now Astral has rejoined the team. Stun lands onto Sinner, but that's not the target they were looking for. And I think that's going to be the side of Avidity. They've just recalled or ran back to their side of the fold, at least in this case. Uza has left the team, and it's a dangerous point with the turret. Here comes the wave. They got a stun down onto Astral. Here comes Glaive. Afterburn is through. It's end up used onto Tay, who is now looking to get out of here if possible. The Dragon's Eye is stacking up. Doesn't quite have that Eve of Harvest yet, and they were not able to pick up a kill yet. But it doesn't look like Sinner wants this fight to be done yet. He does not have a gauntlet yet, but in about 10 seconds he'll have that up, and they could look to execute a kill at that point. Tay, he's lost his Dragon's Eye stacks, and that's a little bit unfortunate. Sinner, he is going to get out alive. Here comes the gauntlet. It wasn't stunned onto Akuza, but they're going to pick up that kill. They're now looking for Prosby as well. Tashik has taken a lot of damage from Neglect here on the Celeste, and that's going to be a kill picked up by Prosby. And in fact, he's going to make it out alive as well, too. So good play coming out of Prosby there, picking up a kill, putting one on the board for the side of Avidity.
So, like I said, it's like a recall of last time. Sinner here, I'm sorry, but you probably are gonna die here. Or not. Why is he living so long? Okay, finally, there we go. Now he died. Now it's not like last game. Now it's got 2 kills. Yay! But it looks like they are doing so much better at Avidity here. They seem to have more of the tactic here from what I'm just seeing of going in, do some damage, but then sort of recall and just retreat in safety just in case. For they, on the side of Devious, they do have a lot more poke with Sky, their forward barrage, Ringo of course being in the back line. Hopefully they may pick up a turret. They just need one more basic attack and it's getting low every time. It's making me want to scream at them, just run in and please just kill the turret. Please, it's really killing me, and plus it will just widen up that gold gap even more. It's just got it's got so much smaller now. It's just under 1k now. It was at 1.5 earlier, but getting this turret should hopefully widen that gap up a little more as we do see more aggression coming out.
Afterburn is going to punt Tay away. That's going to be a Solar Storm ripping through the team of Devious. Not quite enough to do the damage they were hoping for. Akuza, he is very, very low. The Fountain is still available for Prosby. It looks like Akuza is going to try to pick himself up a Treant before he returns to the lane. It's going to help heal him up. He is pretty low against these minions, so has to be cautious. And in fact, he may even just want to get a chance to recall and try to top his health off. He does have the flask, and they have the Fountain available, but he's still so low, and this Sky is getting into such a strong point in her build. You know, the Dragon's Eye is complete, the Eve of Harvest is ready to go. She's going to be able to sustain through any damage this Glaive is able to burst out for the most part. And it's just a rough spot for the side of Avidity to be in, as there's the Sky trying to get some damage down. Here comes the Gauntlet. Stun onto the Glaive as he afterburns through. Core Collapse not going to land onto anybody. Astral is actually taking quite a bit of damage himself and has to be careful. Tashik, he's not done with this chase here. He's looking for more kills. And can he find them, though? He does avoid that Core Collapse with a Suri Strike. Afterburn is going to get Glaive out alive, but for how long? Tashik, it does look like he's going to recall himself as well. Astral, he's not done, though. He's looking for a kill onto Neglect. He did miss that Core Collapse, and that's going to be a 1-for-1 trade. Tashik, he's now looking to find some damage onto Prosby. That Eve of Harvest doing a good job healing him up, as well as the Treant that he took. Going to help top him off as well, but overall on the board right now, we've got 5-3 in favor of Devious, and the first turret still stands on the side of Avidity here, 13 minutes in, despite only having a couple health here. Tashik does get hit by that Afterburn. He's now looking to get out of this fight. In fact, maybe even looking to turn things around. onto this glaive. Instead, just going to let glaive out. And I don't know if that was the right call. You had the positional advantage. We had the Crucible still for the Arden. We had the Fountain coming up in seconds. I think Sky could have chased that fight down.
Yeah, Sky could have definitely chased it down, and especially that it's more crucial for Akuza. He does have a double spell sword here. He may be going for a third, as I've seen before, which is just going to throw them off even more. Like, the damage that Akuza's coming out with already is a lot, and it is really starting to hurt Tashik and Astral at the moment. Even though Astral does have some defense, he doesn't have any weapon defense at the moment. Tashik, however, does take a lot of damage, so it
The
looks like
turret
they're
is
finally
finally
looking at the turret.
down, and they might find a kill onto Astral for it. Giving up your life for that first turret against a Celeste, maybe not the best choice there. And we got a double stun coming through onto Tashik. Can they find this last kill? They're looking for it. They've picked it up. Now it's just Sinner alive. Might even look for this final kill here. They're so close. Solar Storm not quite going to connect. And this might even be first turret now going over to Avidity. This Celeste takes turrets so quickly. There's just nothing the side of Avidity can do.
Now, unfortunately, cannot. It looks like, oh, okay, god damn it. Sinner, why? I was going to say he was going to die there with that gauntlet, but it looks like he's going to use the Echo and just gauntlet again. He does get picked up. But, Astral. No, don't die,
Astral
please.
is trying to get out. He's going to make it out with his life. The same can't be said for Sinner, though, as the side of Avidity. They have taken a 6-5 lead now. I'm actually surprised they have not started up the gold mine, knowing the health that Astral was on. And Astral, he's committed very early on to defense. He has the spell sword, he has a breaking point, and it looks like he might be working into a Sorrow Blade for his third item. The Celeste has just done such a great job of powering through that defense that Ringo has built. And, you know, Celeste is really one of the heroes that doesn't care if you build any shield against her. But now Avidity, they're looking for the jump here. Can they get it? Actually, we might have a disconnect from Neglect here. Tay doing the honorable thing and realizing sometimes ish just happens, and they're going to let Neglect live and just force this wave up under the turret. So good sportsmanship there out of the side of Devious.
Yeah, it's nice to see teams such as these two have such nice sportsmanship here. They are going to leave in B as they will take a turret, unfortunately, instead. It cannot be helped, though. They might go for a Kraken if they wanted to, but I would be scared if Neglect came back and that they saw a Kraken and they stole it. If that happened, I would cry, and then I would scream. Like, why? And then it was just kind of making me like, why didn't I kill him? But at the same time, it's nice to be nice, so it's good to leave and be there. They might go for it, but at the same time, they also do have the steal potential from Akuza, and they do now have more damage. They are amping it up. They do now have infusions ready to go, and they now have the Broken Myth, Forte, also now the Sorrow Blade that Astral has finished off, so he's just going to do some more damage base-wise, which is going to help him scale up with that breaking point onto Akuza and Neglect, hopefully, when he comes back.
Yeah, it does look to be the case. Gauntlet is down. Akuza got dropped very, very quickly on in that fight. Prosby, he is quick to follow. Neglect has made it back to base, but not in time to help save the team. And now it looks like Devious, they might be looking to start up this Kraken and turn things back into their favor. They're taking it very, very quickly with the aggressive Ringo build that we have here. Solar Storm is available. We could see the Miracle Steel come out if Neglect launches it here in just a couple seconds. Tay is ready for the rotation, though. Here we go. The fight has started up, building up a couple of those stacks. Neglect, he's launched out the Solar Storm. Not quite onto target. That one's going to go over to the side of Devious. They now have a Kraken marching for them. They have 2 turrets down already. They can find a fight here. They may be looking to close out the game with 1 Kraken push again this time around. Uh-oh. Oh, Neglect got caught way too far out. That's 1 kill on the board now for that fight for the side of Devious. They're looking to find Prosby as well. They should be able to find it pretty much no problem, I would hope at least. There's that forward barrage. 12 stacks of Dragon's Eye, going to make short work of that health bar on the Churnwalker there, and just not really anything Akuza can do. This has just been aggression coming out from the side of Devious. Unfortunately, due to Neglect's disconnection down there, but Devious looks like they're going to be able to close this one out.
Yeah, and I did like that little taunt that Akusa was doing then. They may try pick up some kills here, hopefully. But I don't think it's going to happen, for it looks like they can't be doing much. Astral might fall though, but unfortunately Crystal Sentry. Crystal Sentry? Oh my gosh, you'll get it's because you said Vein Sentry earlier. I'm now saying Crystal Sentry. The Vein Crystal has now fallen eventually. Sorry to this Fringo. Unfortunately, Avidity couldn't do much. They've just outpoked, really, I would say, in general, and just sort of outplayed. They did so much better this game than last game by far, definitely, but they did just get outplayed a little bit. Um, but again, it's just slight lack of aggression here. They did have a bit more with this glaive. Celeste again just being the back line and poking, but I would say that they just got out aggressed again, especially from the Sky, who we've seen just been poking and scaling up with those Dragon's Eye. Ringer's been going in. He's been going in and going skapow with his twirling silver, and his Achilles has been like, yeah, here's some damage. Boom, go die. We are now gonna win. Which is what they've been doing. They've been taking ejectors as well. So overall, just Devious playing a lot better again. They just got outplayed again, to be honest.
Yeah, I think both teams did really excellent, and Avidity in that second game specifically really stepped things up with the Celeste and the Glaive combination. Uh, Unfortunately, they weren't able to pull things together enough to get through game two, and that's going to be a 2-0 victory for the side of Devious Affinity. And they've won tonight, with a convincing 2-0 lead. So congratulations to Astral, Tashik, and Sinner. And Neglect, Prosby, Akuza, you guys played very, very well, especially in game two. And I look forward to seeing you guys in more NACL in the future.